What is up, guys? You're welcome back. Had to come back on this evening because we've got to work through it. We've got to see how we're all feeling, and of course we've got to process another disappointing day at Old Trafford. It wasn't the result that we wanted. It wasn't the performance that we wanted in the second half, but the reality of where we are is where we are, and there's still a lot of football left to be played. I'm certainly not giving up on the league title. Why should we? We're joint top of the league, second on goal difference, with lots of football left to be played. So it is a disappointing day in the title race, but it isn't the end of the title race, and I hope people aren't thinking that way. Good afternoon, Hunter. How are you, mate? Welcome in. Arsenal don't look like dropping any points. They do. I think it's a too defeatist to think everybody else is going to win every game, but we're going to drop points. The reality of it is teams are going to drop points over these last 7 games. Arsenal are in really good form, no doubt about that. But to think they're just going to automatically stroll through and win 7 games without having any testing moments, I think is just untrue. I'm not saying they can't do it. I'm not saying they won't do it. But what I'm saying is to just give up and have that expectation that nobody else will drop points, only us. I think it's just defeatist thinking. Arsenal still have a North London derby. They have to play United. They have to play Chelsea. There's a lot of football. And of course, they're still in the Champions League and the rigours that come with that. So, look, it wasn't a great day at the office for us today. And we've nobody else to blame. We need to look inwardly and figure this out, because it's nobody else's fault. It was nobody else's fault when we lost in the FA Cup at Old Trafford, and it's nobody else's fault today. But that's where we're at, and we've got to figure it out, and we've got to keep pushing ahead, and we've got to stay positive. Craig, do you think the Champions League might have an impact on Arsenal and City? Probably not so much Manchester City, because they're used to that. They're used to going in the latter stages of Europe. Arsenal, of course, haven't been at the business end of the Champions League for a while, so it remains to be seen. Let's be honest, what's everything our club has been built on? It's belief. Let's believe in these lads and Klopp and go all the way to the end and see what happened. Again, I agree with all of that. There is no real wrong opinions at the minute. A lot of us are frustrated. A lot of us are disappointed. A lot of people want to vent. A lot of people are looking for scapegoats, probably myself included. But the fact of the matter is, did we play well today at times? Yes. Did we create enough chances to win the game? Yes. But we let them back into it. We didn't kill them off. And that's the disappointing part. To have 26 or 27 shots, whatever it was at Old Trafford, and come away with a 2-2 draw in a game that United weren't in for very long spells is frustrating. What's your gut telling you? Oh, my gut's telling me that I honestly can't call a winner. I can't pick a winner of this title race at this point. If we had a won today, I said all along I would have said that I feel like we win the league. But we didn't win today. But I don't feel like we don't win the league. I would say right now it is there for the taking. And I guess the best way I can describe it is, if Arsenal win the next 7 games and keep up the goal difference, then Arsenal deserve to win the league. Let's be fair about that. If we go and win our next 7 games and Arsenal drop points, then we deserve to go and win the league. If Manchester City go and win their games, I still won't recognise it because I hate them. And that's sincere. But look, it is what it is. League titles don't come easy. And you got to keep playing to the last whistle on the last day of the season when it's mathematically not possible anymore. And until then, let's go. 7 games to go. 7 cup finals. It's sort of in our hands, but it's not in our hands. Salah has been a bit wasteful, but at least he done a few through balls. Look, it's very difficult to speak about Salah because you've got the people who think the man can do no wrong, and that's a beautiful thing until it isn't. And then you've got people who go too far in the other direction. I want to go and say, get out of our club. Truth of the matter is, Salah's form recently has been disappointing. That is a fact, in my opinion. But he's not the only one. Today, We were wasteful. Salah wasted chances, Diaz wasted chances, Darwin wasted chances. It is just frustrating. But nobody wants anybody to be blamed, and nobody wants to point fingers at anybody. But at the end of the day, we should be putting those chances away. Regardless of who the balls are falling to, those chances should be put away. A lot more than we have done, particularly against United. Admir said, my gut is telling me that we won't win the league. There's too many defeatist mindsets. And don't let the fear get the better of you. You don't get given a title. You go and win a title. And if Arsenal have the bottle to continue and keep winning, fair play to them. It's not going to be easy. But don't for 1 second believe that that's the end of it. From anyone's perspective. I'm not saying it's the end of it, we're out. I'm not saying it's the end of it, City's out. And I'm not saying it's the end of it, Arsenal are going to go and win it. There is a lot of twists and turns to come. A lot of moments left. 7 games is a lot of football. Why was Canate on the bench for a crucial game? So I've tried to find out the answer to that since the stream. And the best that I can find is, remember when he had the challenge on his knee in the Sheffield United game that we were worried about, but he was able to go on and finish the game. I think that took an extra day to just make sure that it had healed properly or that it hadn't swollen up. And in that day, because it was a short turnaround from the Thursday to the Sunday, the tactical stuff was done. And in the tactical work, Kwanzaa was the one that was on the pitch doing the tactical work. So I believe that was the reason. Now, you could, of course, make a good argument as to maybe we shouldn't have played Canada against Sheffield United and saved him for this game. That's another conversation. Who do you think wins the league from here? Looking at the fixtures and the way they are, City, maybe. I think Arsenal will drop points. I just think their running is difficult and they will drop points. Look, if they don't, as I said, they deserve to win a league title. Do I think we'll drop some more points? God, I hope not, but it's hard to be so ultra positive when you've just seen us be that wasteful and you see us allow Sheffield United back into the game. These are the things that concern me more than being able to just win games of football. It's been able to manage the moments. And we haven't done that at Old Trafford in the last 2 games. We've let that craziness get in and impact us, and that's the worrying part for me more than most of the other stuff. Because I still think, as I said, there's going to be points dropped. Thanks for being yourself. Thank you, Riley. Alexis McCall said, I think it could be time to drop Szoboszlai for a bit when Trent is back. Jota should start too. Villa. So, on the Szoboszlai thing, I agree. I don't like to use the word drop because it's a rough word, but I wouldn't have played him today, and I said that in my preview coming up to the game, and I don't want to say I was criticised, but people were surprised that I said it. And I think today confirmed why I said it, because I'm not doubting Szoboszlai's ability, but I am doubting his form or his rhythm, and he doesn't look far off, but he doesn't look as good as we know he is. So I would have went with Elliott today. For the next game, I'd probably go with Jones because he's back, getting into match rhythm. So yeah, he's been off. I think I'm trying to look at the Salah situation and think he's always been somebody that required more than one chance to score. But he's always found enough moments in the game where that hasn't really mattered, and he's always come out on the score sheet, and today he did the same. But he wasted a lot of chances. I think moving Jota back into the centre when he's back and putting Darwin out onto the left, I think will help us more. But the thing that concerns me the most about all of our forwards, I include Diaz, Darwin and Salah in this, is just one touch too many. Too much time spent to try and get the ball out of their feet, or the ball's played to them slightly behind or slightly too slow. Just that last moment, whether it's a pass, whether it's a decision of when to shoot, we just seem to be overthinking it at times or not coming natural to us in the way we would expect it to. Sorry, I'm just trying to run through some more comments. It's going to come back and bite us in the long run, guaranteed. You're going to have to be a bit more specific than that, dude. What's going to come back to bite us? Dropping points like today? Maybe, yeah. There is sort of a feeling that we've gotten away with a bit this season as well. If we're being really honest with ourselves, like, this isn't a vintage Liverpool season. There's been long moments this season where we have been far away from our best, but we found a way. So, if we're being really honest with ourselves, it was probably coming, some of these poor results. Probably catching up with us a little bit. Are we being overcautious with bringing players back into the team? I don't know the answer to that, mate, because I don't know the physical condition of the players who are coming back in. I just think, and look, I said it today when the team was announced, it's pretty much what we expected, right? There wasn't all that many surprises in it. You can talk about Kwanzaa and you can talk about Szoboszlai, but, Kwanzaa's been really good for us, and he made a mistake today, and that's okay. He's a young man. Mistakes get made. I have a still image of it, and the still image of the Kwanzaa ball across, what gets me in that moment, and I'm looking at this image right now, is that Van Dijk is telling him to go back to Kelleher, and he doesn't listen to Van Dijk, and he plays a blind ball across, and after that it's just a great bit of improvisation and finish from Bruno Fernandes. But it got to us, that moment, and I'm not going to single out Kwanzaa, because individual mistakes happen. It's sport, happens all the time. And Kwanzaa has far more positives than negatives. But it was an important moment in the game that probably put in a little bit of doubt or fear into the players' minds of, oh, here we go again. Why did Sky never mention the tragedy chanting by the Manx? It was in the thousands and audible to all. I've had enough of it. So, Stephen, what I've got to say on this one, my friend, is I haven't listened to the game with any audio on yet. And I'm not on social media, so I don't know what was and wasn't being sung. I take you at face value, and I would agree with you. I think any tragedy chanting, be it from United fans, Air fans, or anybody else, is unacceptable. There's no defence of it. You are right. You should be fed up of it. Football should be fed up of it. But I have to be honest and say, personally, I haven't heard anything from the game yet, because I haven't watched it back with audio on. We definitely miss Jota and Trent. Club needs a clinical striker in the summer for when Jota gets injured, said Stargirl. So, I've been thinking a good bit about this, Stargirl, over the last couple of days, about that clinical nature. And I think I agree with you. I don't want to undermine any of our other forwards, but I do agree with you. Having a clinical finisher is worth its weight in gold. And Diogo Jota is the best finisher we have at the club at this moment in time. All the other forwards have loads of great attributes and have positive impacts on games in different ways, but that fox in the box is important. And if we are to move on wide players, let's say, in the next window, because the next manager doesn't want to use wide players in his system, or for whatever other reason, I think I agree with you, yes. Maybe time to invest in somebody else to come in just as a poacher. But who is that person? I really don't know. That game was perfect for Jota, said Glenn Boylan. I agree. Kevin Pell said, beg to differ, it's over, City's title. I don't know how that's the case when we're ahead of them. Like, I kind of get where you're coming from, Kelvin. They are formidable in these type of moments. They can grind out wins and put together a run, and they do have the most kind fixtures remaining. But while we're ahead of them, and Arsenal are ahead of them, I fail to see them as the favourites. But they have to be taken seriously. I definitely agree with you on that. But, it is... I don't think any of us can look at this situation now and say definitively what's going to happen. We all have our own opinions, some more optimistic, some pessimistic, some angry, some frightened, but we don't know yet, mate. We just don't know. But today feels like a tough one. It definitely does. Do you think Kelleher was at fault for the first goal? So I'm gonna explain why that whole thing is nonsense. So firstly, Kelleher was exactly where you would want Kelleher to be in that moment. On the edge of his penalty area, in case the ball needs to be played back to him, in case there's a ball played over the top. That is exactly where a goalkeeper should be in our system in that moment. The problem was only with the pass from Kwanzaa. And after that, it was a delightful finish over Kelleher's head. So no, in no way, shape or form has Kelleher... And anyone who tries to say that's Kelleher's fault doesn't know what they're talking about. Really, they don't. It was a mistake, it happens, but Kelleher was exactly where he should have been. On the edge of his penalty area, waiting for a ball over the top to come out and clear it up. That's the way our goalkeepers play. So no, not at all. No fault on Kelleher for that goal, in my opinion. And I don't want to put too much fault on Kwanzaa either. It was just a mistake. You have to say, apart from the mistake, it was an incredible finish. I hate Fernandez, but it was an incredible finish. And their second goal as well, yeah, we could have defended that better, but you've also got to tip your hat to Mainu and say it was a great finish from him as well. Do you think if we win all our games, it'll be enough to win the league? Yes. Now, that I can absolutely agree with. If we win the last 7 games, I think we win the league. Yes, I do. I don't think Arsenal are going to win 7 games in a row. No, that's not meant as a dig at Arsenal. It's purely just looking at the fixtures and the pressure. You know, because we talked about the pressure of the 30 years without a league title on our shoulders and what it took to get over the line to get that. And it took us longer building up to be prepared for that moment. And Arsenal fell away last year. I don't think they fall away this year. But I do think they have a wobble or two left in them because they're human. So, no, I don't think they win them. But if we win all the games, yeah, I feel comfortable that we'd win it. John Dollery, thank you for your super chat, John, said, so many people ignoring the Champions League fixtures for Arsenal and City. Those are exhausting fixtures to get through. If City and Arsenal meet in the semis, that's a dream scenario for us. I think it's a very valid point, John. They have a lot. They're going to take a lot out of them, both of those fixtures. You know, City against Madrid, Bayern and Arsenal, and the pressure that comes with trying to go through to win that competition as well. Yes, it will be a factor. Hopefully those games go into extra time and penalties and it really takes it out of them. But look, I can only say it this way. If Arsenal win 7 games and win the league, they deserve to win the league. And, you know, as much as it hurts us, we have to congratulate them because they would have earned it. Arsenal won't drop any points. They're playing like champions. You see, that's not even a logic. You're just saying that off emotion, Ash. And I get it. But again, I'm going to say to you, in their history, I don't think they've ever been able to put together 13 wins in a row or 13 wins and 1 draw of 14 games. So I don't think they'll do it now either. They are playing like champions. That much I agree with you. They are managing games very well. But to not think there'll be a wobble, a moment, something that they have to overcome, I think it will. And I think if they get through it, they deserve it. I can't be any clearer than that. But none of us know. It's all guesswork at this point. None of us know what happens. Oliver, I'm starting to think that the Klopp's final season thing is getting in their heads. Maybe. I keep saying this phrase. There's only so many times you can go to the well. There's only so many times that you can drag back from these losing positions or drag that extra bit of energy and emotion out of yourself. There's only so many times a manager's words can have an impact or a captain's words. Sometimes you just have to manage these games better. And we went to Old Trafford, opened the scoring, created chance after chance. They had 0 shots and 0 shots on target in the first half. We had 15 shots. And we didn't kill off the game. And much like in the FA Cup, United found their way into it. And we've only got ourselves to blame. It's not on the ref today. It's not on the PGMOL. It's on us. And we've got to look inwardly. Arsenal once won 14 games in a row 23 years ago. There you go, Ben. I stand corrected. But look, I still say what I say. If they go on and win every game, they deserve it. So, let's be fair about it. It's I just don't like people giving up yet. It sucks today. It does. But don't give up. If this group has taught us that, and they're not going to give up. And we got to be right there with them. But we do have to improve on certain things. Yes, we have to manage games a little bit better. We have to be able to see out games. We have to be able to be more clinical in the final third. And we have to be able to make sure that we put these teams to bed. United should have been put to bed at half-time. Klopp should have been able to look at that game. It should have been 2 or 3-0 up at half-time. And he should have been able to look towards Atalanta and start to make some changes and bring players on and rest legs and just see it out. But we didn't. And that's why it hurts. I don't know why I'm laughing about it, but that's why it hurts, because there isn't a scapegoat today for me. We are the reason, ourselves. I can't believe all the people are saying sell Mo Salah after everything he's done. But I understand it though. I get your point as well. But you don't live off a reputation, dude. You earn a reputation and you get respect from it, but you don't live off a reputation. What you did for a football club last week, last month, 2 years ago, doesn't matter. It's what are you doing for me lately. It's ruthless, I know. It's a horrible thing to say. But if we're being honest, he's not been at his best. And I don't know why we can't have that honest conversation a lot of the time without it getting to hate or something to do with religion, or let's just look at it from a realistic perspective. We hold him in such high esteem because we know what he's capable of, right? Would you agree with me on that? We've seen what he's done, 7 years, consistency, big moments, goals. So when you're held in that esteem and you've earned the right to be put at the highest bracket, you get judged accordingly. And I think it's only fair to say that he's dropped off. I'm not here to say what the decision is on his future, but I think it is a fair conversation to say that Mohamed Salah is not the same Mohamed Salah that he was previously. I don't know what the reason is for it. I don't know if it's father time. I don't know if it's fatigue. I don't know if... I have no idea. I'm not in Mo's head. I have no idea. But as a football fan, I definitely don't see the same Mohamed Salah that I remember us all falling in love with. He's still the same human being. Still the same beautiful, really, really great role model. But is he the same on the pitch? I think if we're being honest, the answer is no. Drop off because of Ramadan. So I've been thinking about this over the last hour, and that's another excuse. Where were the drop-offs every other season during Ramadan? Why is it okay to say it's a drop-off from it this season, but we never mention it in any of the other seasons? It's just people that are trying to defend him, and I understand and appreciate that. But nobody should be above critiquing. Not hate. Nobody's trying to be hateful. But there was no using it as an excuse any other year. And he had 3 months off, dude, from Liverpool. One with away at the AFCON, and then the injury. So my viewpoint is this: if any player isn't able to perform to their best for whatever reason, they shouldn't be on the pitch. Whether that's a stomach bug, a headache, a sore ankle, no energy because you're fasting, whatever that reason might be. If you can't perform to your best and your levels drop off, it's up to the manager to make that call and say, I need X or Y to come in here. Andrew Wright said, sorry to say Klopp is a bottler. Name me when we step up in a title race. Every time he has advantage, he can't do it. 3 races, Diaz missed an open goal. So, can I ask you an honest question, Andrew? Is it Jurgen Klopp's fault that Darwin and Salah and Diaz were missing opportunities today? Is it Jurgen Klopp's fault that we missed the sitter from 4 yards out? Is it Jurgen Klopp's fault that Jarell Kwanzaa played a ball back across the front of his goal? There are moments, and we wouldn't be in this title race without his management this season, without his being able to adjust and get teams, find calling Klopp a bottler very harsh because he ain't missing those chances on the pitch, bro. I think Dom is missing Trent, but needs to improve, said Harry Klein. Even and all, said Kevin John. We're still in a race. We're still in with a shot. Keep the faith. The wild card could be to start Dan, said Coach Bill. So I've got to say I was surprised today to see Jayden Danns on the bench and not other young man. What's his name? Why do I always do this to myself? I always draw a blank. Clark, Bobby Clark. I thought we would have seen Bobby Clark on the bench today, actually. I was surprised he wasn't there. Craig, do you think we can still win the league? Can still win the league? Yes, of course we can. But I think it's far more open after today's result. You know, it's far more in question. Where do Arsenal drop points? Well, they've got to go to Old Trafford. They've got to go to Spurs Gaff. They've got to play Chelsea. And I think there's one more difficult enough game in there for them. Now, Arsenal are capable of beating all those teams. But those teams are also capable of beating Arsenal. So as much as we went into that game today, Manchester United wanted us to do us no favours and wanted to stop us winning the league, make no mistake, Spurs will be the very same when they take on Arsenal. They will want to do everything they can to make sure that Arsenal don't get to lift that league title. So think of it that way. Do we go strong Thursday? Of course. It's the Europa League. We have to try to win everything we're left in. So yes, we go strong Thursday. And then we make changes and we hopefully take care of Crystal Palace. But of course, we have to go strong. They've got Wolves away as well. See? They have some difficult fixtures in there. But they are capable of winning it because they're a good team. And everyone that said they're playing like champions, I can't argue against that. They are playing like champions. They're playing like a very well-oiled machine. That's why they're up at the top of the table. Yeah. What would you think could happen if we lose the league on goal difference because of the Tottenham game? I mean, there's a lot of things to go through to get to that point. If we lose the league on goal difference, it's gonna suck. But it's also just part and parcel of it. I hope we don't go chasing the goal difference yet, because remember 13-14 where we did something similar and we ended up drawing 3-3 at Crystal Palace, and that was the end of that. So 7 games to go, 9-game goal difference. It is quite a bit to try and pull back, to be fair, but if we lose that goal difference, you know, there's nothing I can say now that can promise anything or can change anything. Right now, it's going to be one game at a time. Every game's going to be a final for all 3 teams, and it could come down to who plays in what order. But there will be a moment. City will have a moment they'll have to get through. Arsenal will have a moment they'll have to get through. And we'll have a moment we'll have to get through. That's just the way it is at the minute. United will not let Arsenal drop points at Old Trafford. I don't know what to say to that, mate. I would never accuse any team of being cheaters and rolling over. I just wouldn't. But I don't know what to say, mate, you know. Spurs certainly won't be rolling over for them at their gaff. I can promise you that. Arsenal win it on goal difference. Even if Arsenal draw with Man United and Spurs, they still win it on goal difference. Huh? I don't know what you mean there, D-boy. If Arsenal drop any... Like, we're level on points with Arsenal now. If they drop more points and we keep winning, we win the league. I don't understand the point of what you were writing there. I'm worried about our 3 away games in a row. Everton, Fulham and West Ham. I'm going to be really harsh, Katie, and say if we can't beat them, we don't deserve to win a league title. You know, Everton are dire. Absolutely terrible. And if we can't go to Goodison and beat them, we don't deserve to win a league title. Fulham, that should be an exciting enough game. West Ham worries me because of the kickoff time as well. But it's the Premier League. Nothing's going to be a given. Villa's coach rolled over for City. Yeah, he went weak. I give you that one. But there's no answers. Like, if you want to be defeatist and you want to give up the league title, that's up to you. That's your prerogative. I'm just not in that mindset. I'm not wired that way. And I don't know what anybody else would be. Because, put it to you this way. If your brother, sister, son, daughter, cousin was in this position in their title race in their sport, whatever they play, and your son, daughter, cousin came to you and said, I give up. We're level on points with this team. They have a better goal difference. There's 7 games to go. We might as well give up. Be honest. There's no way you'd allow that from your friend, your relative. You'd pull them up and you'd say, no. That's not the mindset. You go ahead, take care of your business. You can't impact what happens to the other team, but you can impact what you do. And keep playing till the last minute and see what happens. So why aren't we taking our own advice? Because that's what we'd all say in these moments to our loved ones or to our friends. We have to be the same to each other. So don't give up. It's easy to let your head drop. It's understandable to feel a little bit defeatist at the minute. But if you want to be champions, you've got to dust yourself off and go again. And this group have always dusted themselves off and gone again. I think we can win every game from now. Sorry about earlier, Craig. You're right. Just because Salah was fast, it's not an excuse. I appreciate, Omar, where you're coming from on it, mate. I do. And nothing but love back to you, bro. But my point was more, somebody should take that decision out of his hands if it's impacting a performance. Maybe the manager needs to be stronger in that situation and say, you're not at it at the minute. The stats are showing this. Pull him aside. But it's just, we all want the best, mate. We all want the team to do well. We want Salah to score. And we want to see him whip the top off at Old Trafford and show the 6-pack. But today was just almost like we're seeing the FA Cup game all over again. I couldn't believe it when that Mainu goal went in. I mean, it just felt like a kick in the teeth because it kind of came from nowhere. Craig, is it true that there is a documentary being filmed for this season? Yes, Ollie, there is. I think it's going to come out on Disney. Open to be corrected on that. The documentary is going to focus on Klopp's last months, but it's also going to focus on the players, moments at home with their families, some stuff in the tunnel, I think. I don't think it's going to show anything tactical or anything like that. But yes, there certainly is a documentary being filmed at the minute. I think Liverpool are getting, again, open to be corrected here, I think about 10 million for it. I smashed my PS5 when they were 2-1. Oh, Omar, bro, I've broken many things myself over the years, mate. Honestly, I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that we ended up 2-1 down after how convincingly we managed it. And United had that good start, 10 minutes, you would expect. But then we found our way into it and we were absolutely ripping them to bits. McAllister in that first half was putting on a clinic. But we didn't finish them off, and that lesson was not learned. You held your head and you said 2-1 they have scored. Yes. Is there a point to that, Rowan? I mean, I didn't scream abuse at anyone, did I, when United scored? I didn't say you're all crap, sell these players. No, I just held my head and thought, I meant in the past, like, look at my 7-2 reaction. I was throwing remote controls around the room. Why was the goalie out of his goal for the Bruno goal? Because that's exactly where he should be. Exactly where he should be, Andrew. Let me ask you this, right? Let's say we played the ball 15 yards forward and our player was dispossessed and United then play the ball over the top of our defence, in behind our defence, where would you want Kelleher to be? The answer is on the edge of his 18-yard box, because that's how a sweeper keeper is played. That's the way Alisson stands. That's the way we're supposed to play. Kelleher was in exactly the right spot. Kelleher could not have known what was about to happen. Kelleher was making himself available. Look at it. I have a still image of it on the screen here right now. Kwanza's in possession. Van Dijk is just outside the centre circle, pointing back to the keeper, telling Kwanza, go back to him. Kelleher is in position to receive the ball, and the rest happened. So no, mate, there's absolutely zero fault on Kelleher for that. None. My brother thinks Constantine, I don't know who that is a promising poacher from Dynamo. I do think it's, by the way, us and Arsenal, they're playing good. We just had a hiccup today. Players are coming back. Jota coming back will make a big difference. Trent coming back will make a big difference. I will try and keep an eye out for that player that you've mentioned, Konstantin Chukovin. But I can't say I've heard of him yet, Stargirl. Do you think Jota and Trent will be back for the Palace game? Yes. From what we're reading, yes. Do they start for the Palace game? That's another question. I don't know the answer to that, but I think they'll be in the squad, yeah. Kelleher was 25 metres out of goal. I can only say the same thing so many times. I played that position. It's probably the only position on the pitch I feel I can speak about with real authority. And I'm telling you, from all the years I was coached as a goalkeeper at a high level, he was in the right position. If you don't want to believe that and you think he was in the wrong position, you're wrong, but it's your opinion. I'm telling you from somebody who played that position that he was in the right position. That's it. Ask any coach, ask a goalkeeping coach. If you're lucky enough to speak to one of our players, ask one of our players. But Kelleher was exactly where he should have been. He's exactly where Alisson would have been, or Adrian would have been, or anybody who was in goal for us in that position. He did not know that Kwanza was about to gift the ball to Bruno Fernandes. We ain't got Palace. Is it not Palace next weekend at 2? Who are we playing next Sunday at 2? I thought it was Palace at home. Bear with me. Yeah, it's Crystal Palace at home next Sunday at 2 o'clock. I knew I was right. So, we do have Palace. Will Addison be back for Villa and Spurs games? Yes. I would certainly for the Villa game. I would assume for the Spurs game. It was Kwanzaa mistake, had nothing to do with Kelleher. I know. It was. And it was just a mistake. It happens. I'm not going in on Kwanzaa for it at all. I don't like people that don't know what they're talking about criticising somebody who shouldn't be being criticised. I don't want Kwanzaa to be criticised either, but it wasn't nothing to do with Kelleher. Any more on Ruben Amorim? Not that I've seen over the last day, Omar. No, nothing new, mate. Atlanta first on Thursday. Yep, another huge game, Sergio. And look, in an ideal world, we win that by 3 or 4, and we can almost rest players for the second leg over in Italy. But you know, that's wishful thinking at the moment. Stating a fact that we lost the title is not giving up. Well, you're not stating a fact. I hate to be pedantic about this, but have Arsenal been given the league title? Has anybody been declared the league winner? Genuinely. The answer to the question is no. So it isn't a fact. You aren't stating a fact. A fact is we're second on goal difference. That's a fact. A fact is there's 7 games left to play. What you're stating is a defeatist opinion. It's not a fact. If you want to give up and be defeatist, that's up to you. But you don't get to say things that aren't a fact are a fact. It's an opinion. You're not Donald Trump here, mate. There is no alternative facts. There's facts and opinions. Why the hell is everyone saying league's over? I'm not. I don't get it. 7 games to go and we're behind on goal difference. I have no idea why people would give up. I understand why people would be disappointed, of course. Today was not a great day, but I don't know, maybe some people feel it's easier to just give up. I can't speak for everyone's mindsets. I'm just not somebody who would give in until it's possible that we're, mathematically unable to win the league title, or even if we lost the next 2 games, I wouldn't be sitting here saying we're going to win the league. It's possible I'd be saying we threw that away. But today, as much as I feel we should have beaten United, it's not over. It's not great. It's not ideal, but it's not over. Do you think we could catch Arsenal in the goal difference? Probably not, if I'm being honest. Probably not. I feel like that might be a stretch too far for us at this point. Because if you look at it, 7 games left, we'd have to outperform them by an average of 1.25, 1.3 goals a game. It's possible, but the more likely thing is that they probably extend it because they've been scoring more goals. Yeah. Do you think we deserve to win the league with that performance? Now that's a different question. I don't think we've been at our best this year. I don't think we played the best football in the league this year. I don't think we've been the best team this year. So I guess, do I think we deserve to win it? I think we'd be a little bit fortunate if we go on to win it, because we've got off the hook a few times. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. See, we have to catch the goal difference. It's maybe Rohan, and we should probably go after it at some point, but I just have PTSD from Istanbul, mate, when we were 3-0 up against Palace and we were pushing to try and get that goal difference and it all came tumbling down. I'm still got a little bit of PTSD from that. I to be honest with you, I had hoped we would put a dent in the goal difference when we played Sheffield United, but I guess we got 2 back, but wasn't enough. I was hoping we beat them by 4, 5, 6. I was feeling really low since the draw. Thank you for the stream and discussions. It's helping me a lot. Really enjoying my time. Thank you, Nessie. Appreciate you. I wanted to come back on as well because, we're all emotional in the moment after the game. And sometimes I need a little bit of time to process things and, come back at it. And I just felt like I didn't want people to give up. I didn't want people to be defeatist. We should feel a little bit disappointed. It was an underwhelming day, but if you think that there isn't twists and turns left, I don't know. I disagree. I hate the feeling right now, but I genuinely just have the feeling that it's happening this season. I think Spurs will shock Arsenal and City will draw too, said Alex McCall. I think it's absolutely possible that Spurs get something from Arsenal. I said to you guys, I don't know if it was before the Sheffield United game or before the last game. I said I feel like we draw one more game this season and we could win the rest. I didn't want that draw to be at Manchester United, but it was, and I still stand over. I feel like we can win every game. I think Arsenal have by far the toughest fixtures, and if they can get through that, they deserve a league title. Liverpool will meet next week with the agent of Ruben Amorim is the latest thing we're seeing regarding Amorim. So I have a couple of little bits and pieces. A meeting between Ruben Amorim's agent and Liverpool is scheduled for Monday to negotiate the final terms of his contract. That's from Pedro Sepulveda. So I guess the news is starting to pop out a little bit. There you go. That's a positive sign. And hopefully we'll have some decent news on that. Liverpool made contact with people close to Ruben Amorim. They discussed the situation of his contract with Sporting, and they are well informed on everything about Amorim. He's a candidate and he's the favourite. He's a favourite at the moment, but nothing is done, said Fabrizio Romano. So David Lynch had an interesting post today. He said Liverpool's starting midfield contested 24 duels today and only won 8, with 5 of them coming from Alexis McAllister. I often wonder if the big Old Trafford pitch doesn't allow for compactness Jurgen Klopp likes in that area of the pitch. So again, as you see there, David Lynch said 24 duels today in midfield, and we only won 8 of them, and Alexis won 5 of those 8. That's one of the reasons we didn't win that game of football. And well in David Lynch, it's an interesting stat, and I think he's made a very interesting point about the bigger Old Trafford pitch maybe not being ideal for the way Jurgen likes to keep games compact. Harry James said, I love this community, especially days like today. You're right, Craig, we shouldn't give up. Still lots of football to be played, and Arsenal have got tough fixtures. Yep, they do. They do. I've truly, genuinely believe there's more points to be dropped. We could be involved in those more points being dropped, but I don't think Arsenal win every game. I don't. Because they've got tough fixtures. And if they do win every game, as I said, all we can do is congratulate them and take it on the chin. Right, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, my friends, please do. We're just one away from 253,100, so I appreciate that. Don't forget to drop a like as well. We're going to carry on for a bit longer, but I want to give a word to our sponsors, Manscaped. Don't forget you can get yourself 20% off and free shipping on anything at manscaped.com by using our code Anfield20. Simply scan the QR code on the screen or use our code at checkout. That's Anfield20 for 20% off and free shipping. And thank you to Manscaped for their support. Craig, is disappointing as today is. We would have taken this position in the league at the start of the season with 7 games to go. Only second on goal difference. Absolutely, Chris. 100% agree. I guess sometimes these things change though as reality comes to you. And we were 2 points ahead. We were 1 point ahead, sorry. And now we're behind on goal difference. So, no, we were 2 points ahead. Sorry, I'm confusing myself here. And now we're level, but behind on goal difference. So I would have taken it, you're right. But still doesn't stop it stinging today that we yet again failed to put away a pretty poor United team. Does losing feel worse now or when you were 20? I think when I was 20, I probably had a lot more things going on in my life that were equally as important to me. As I've got older, my family have, come together. Football's become a very important part. So I'd say it probably affects me more now than 20 years ago. Thank you, Riley. I really appreciate your kind words. Can't see us win 7 in a row now unless our form improves dramatically. We definitely have some work to do, Brian. Yeah, we've some mistakes to cut out. We need to stop being so open in the first few minutes of a game and stop conceding cheap chances. And we also need to not waste as many opportunities as we did today. Dean Observer said, I have to disagree with you, Craig, about Arsenal having the harder run in. They have 5 home games, 2 away. I think most will win the home games and possibly lose to Spurs. Well, I would go as far as to say, Dean, if they lose to Spurs, I think we win the league. That much I feel confident about. Having more home games than away games is definitely a positive, but they have to go to Old Trafford. They have to go to Spurs Gaff. They have to go to Wolves. They have Chelsea at the Emirates, which, depending on what version of Chelsea shows up, that could be a difficult game. So I think if you ask most people, they would say that Arsenal have the most difficult set of fixtures, but it doesn't mean that they can't win those games at home, as you've said. 7-0 is gone. Yeah, no, 7-0's never gone, Jens. Ever. Mate, don't you worry about that. 7-0 will be here forever and ever and ever. And drawing with us twice in the league this season doesn't remove 7-0 or 5-0, by the way, mate. So don't worry. We'll still be reminding you of that in many years to come. Who's your favourite player at Liverpool? Alisson. Alisson I love Darwin, but look, Maka. There's man crushes all over the place with Maka. Maka has been... He's just such an easy guy to like as well, isn't he? I've always been honest with people and said I've never fully been able to take to Mo. And the reason that I've never been able to fully take him is probably a very weird reason. He's too perfect. He's too perfect. I'm always drawn to the type of people usually that have somewhat of a flaw. Hence my Darwin admiration, my Ronnie O'Sullivan admiration, my Diego Maradona admiration. Mo is just the perfect human being, you know. Really lovely man, great sport, great ambassador, you know, just really perfect. And I feel like he doesn't need me cheering him on. But those that have personality flaws, or I kind of just... I'm drawn to those type of people. Mavericks, or, you know, people who are flawed in some way. Harry Redknapp saying he thinks Arsenal win the league. Okay. This is the same man who his dog had a bank account, and I don't know. It doesn't really make any difference what Harry Redknapp thinks to me, in all honesty. It's just one more opinion. You know, Gary Neville thought Spurs were finishing above Liverpool and Arsenal this season, and, you know, here we are. If you had to pick one player to come to us, who would it be and why? Jamal Musiala, because I think he's incredible. Yeah, that'll be him. Jamal Musiala, he'd be the one. Maka or Bellingham? Look, I'm not going to say I wouldn't have loved Jude Bellingham, but I am absolutely over the moon with Alexis McAllister. Yeah, he's just really, really good. His dog has a bank account. Google it. I'm not joking you, mate. Google Harry Redknapp dog bank account. I think the dog's name was Rosie, if my memory's right. I might be wrong on the dog's name, but Google Redknapp dog bank account. Would I sell Mo to PSG? I don't think that's the question for me. The question is, would I sell Mo? That's what it really boils down to. And I think yes, because I don't think you're going to get a better opportunity to recoup 100 million quid. And with owners like ours who are somewhat frugal or scabby or tight, whatever way you want to phrase it, I do think the logical business, cold, hard decision would be to sell. The emotional decision wants him to stay. But once Michael Edwards was put into his role again, my brain went straight to, well, I think he gets sold now. But where that's to doesn't really matter to me as long as it's not in the Premier League. But I do think he gets sold. I know people will not want to hear that or disagree with that, and I respect you on that. I just get the feeling this is the summer where Liverpool look to recoup some of that money. Dear Craig, playing for 90 minutes is exhausting, especially when you're fasting. I don't care. I don't care, Amr. I don't care. I don't care if he's fasting. I don't care. I can't be any clearer, mate. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It's just another excuse. If he's fasting and he can't be at his best, he shouldn't be on the pitch. Simple as that. Same as somebody has a sore ankle or a headache or a sore stomach or a flu. If you're not 100%, you shouldn't be on the pitch. End of conversation. Don't care what the excuse is. And don't make it about religion, because it isn't. It's about performance levels. And I don't care what the excuse is. I don't remember excuses the previous 6 years to this year. Why all of a sudden this year is it okay to throw it out as an excuse? It is just that. It's an excuse. Simple as that for me, mate. You're free to disagree with me. But I'm just being honest with you. He wouldn't use it as an excuse. So I don't know why we should use it as an excuse. And if the performance levels aren't there, it's understandable that his performance levels will drop off if he hasn't got nourishment and energy. Of course, that's basic scientific fact. I'm not trying to say that fasting hasn't impacted his performance. Of course, I understand how energy levels work, mate. I get it. But I'm just saying that's the betterment of the team is more important. And if we have players who were fasting and it is impacting them, then we should be resting those players and we should be bringing them on for the last 30, or they shouldn't be starting 3 games in a week. That's the point I'm trying to make. And Canade, I believe, was also fasting and played, and nobody's trotting out excuses for Canade. It feels like Mo was just... I don't know. I've never experienced the fandom of a player above the team before. It's new to me. I'm a Liverpool Football Club fan. Not a Mohamed Salah fan. Not a Virgil van Dijk fan. Not a Darwin Núñez fan. I'm a Liverpool Football Club fan. Players to me will come and go. They're part of the moments we enjoy. But they are just that, a footnote, a part of history. It's a new modern thing that maybe I'm a boomer and don't understand, but I don't get player worship above anything else. Player is part of the team. The team should always come first, to me. But as I said, other people follow sports and athletes in the same way, and I understand that. I look at NFL, and there are players in NFL that I admire and like, and watch games because those players are in. But I wouldn't necessarily support those teams. So maybe in that sense I understand this new phenomenon a little bit more. Imagine your body without water. I really don't think you're listening to me, mate. I'm not denying the science behind nutrition. What I'm saying is, if you're not fit enough to play properly, you shouldn't be on the pitch. I don't understand how that isn't breaking through. I get it. I understand how science works and what energy is. I understand all of it. I'm just saying, I don't care. I don't care. It's an excuse. And if you're not fit enough to play, you shouldn't be on the pitch. It's that simple. Surely you understand my point. I'm not denying science, dude. I get it. I absolutely believe that he wasn't physically at his best. Of course, I get it. I just don't care because it doesn't help the team. And we aren't Mohamed Salah FC. We're a Liverpool Football Club. I feel like our form would improve when Trent and Jota comes back because we need Jota for more clinical finishes and Trent for good crosses and corners. Maybe it isn't Salah's choice. Don't know what to say. I'm just not going to reply to that in Salah based anymore because there are just people who are just pig ignorant and just refuse to accept that he was poor. And that's fine. If you want to bury your head in the sand and watch him keep missing sitters from 4 yards, that's absolutely your prerogative. Same way it's my prerogative to tell you that I don't care. If you're poor and not performing, I don't care what the reason is. Doesn't matter. You're letting the team down. And if you can't perform to your best, you should step aside. So you say maybe it isn't down to Salah. Well, it is. It is. Nobody's forced him to be on the pitch. If he's not at his best, he should step aside. That's my point. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with me. But it is my point. And I'm not for changing on it. Craig, I think we should let Harvey have a go on the right wing and put Jones in midfield for a bit to see if Mo can improve himself. I don't like Elliott on the right wing, if I'm being really honest. I don't think he's as impactful there. What I would like to see happen is maybe Darwin go out onto the left side, Jota through the middle. Do you know what? I wouldn't mind seeing Diaz get a bash on the right for a game or so. Because I don't want to see Mo's poor performances rewarded by constant starts no matter what. And let me explain why before you jump down my throat. I don't believe anybody who isn't hitting their level should be rewarded by just constantly playing every week. Constantly just here, because of who your name is, you play. No, you play because you perform. You earn the shirt. And like anybody else, if those performances aren't up to scratch, I think they should be given a spell on the bench to reflect or to give somebody else an opportunity. And there was an unbelievable amount of chances missed today that have nothing to do with Ramadan, nothing to do with fasting, and everything to do with just lax execution. But he wasn't alone. He wasn't alone. Darwin was every bit as infuriating today. Diaz drives me insane at times with the amount of touches he takes and almost just to run across the front of the 18-yard box and then figure out what to do. You know, Diaz just seems to run into blind alleys at times, and that drives me demented as well. But look, it's all much of a muchness. They're all our boys. I want them all to do well. I want them all to be part of winning a league title. I want to see Salah go down as one of the greatest players to ever do it for Liverpool, with as well as just the records he's already achieved. I want that roll of honour. I want the medals around his neck. I want 2 league titles. I want a Europa League for him. I want the Champions League for him. I want the man to achieve his dreams with Liverpool Football Club on the pitch. Craig, do you think Klopp's too loyal to certain players in the team? For example, Salah. I think every manager would have, I don't want to say favourites because I think that's unfair. Players they know they can rely upon. And I would say Salah, Verge, Alisson, they're players that Jurgen Klopp feels he can pin his hopes on, that he can trust that the moment won't be too big for them. So, yeah, to some extent I think all managers play favourites a little bit, but those favouritisms are usually earned through years of good work. My mate's a United fan. Even he says Liverpool are still in with a big shout for the league. Yeah, of course. It took a dent today. That's okay. But we're still in a good spot, yeah. Is Inacio who you would like if Amorim could bring in one player? Yes, I do like the idea of him, mate, because I feel like the left side of a back three would be where we'd need to be strengthening. If you look at the profile of the centre-backs that we have at the club right now, you think Verge, central, Kanade, Kwanzaa, again, you're probably thinking right side is their strongest area. I don't really know if we have a centre-back that I think is as comfortable on the left-hand side of a back three, and certainly the way Amorim plays his team, Inacio on the left, Diomande on the right, and Coates through the centre. Yeah, if we go to a back three, I think a left-sided centre-back is the most logical area to try and bring someone in. That match felt like a loss. Don't listen to haters. It did feel like a loss, George. It did. Look, it was great that we were able to salvage a point, and fair play to Harvey Elliott for drawing that penalty from Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and fair play for Mo for having the composure to step up, not let the pressure get to him, and score the goal. But yeah, it did. It felt like a loss. But the point could be big. The point could be a big help come the end of the season. So certainly grateful that we got back to that 2-2 scoreline. Sorry, I'm just going through some more comments. Yeah, sorry. Khaled silly. We don't have time for children, mate. With your silliness, just stop. Off you pop elsewhere, bro. Do you think there's any chance we stay as a 4-4-3? Well, that would be 12 players on the pitch, dude. So no, you're gone full Todd Bowley there, bro. We play 4-3-3. But no, I don't. I think from everything, if Amorim's going to be the guy anyway, everything suggests he really believes in that 3-4-3 system. Craig, Diaz should have won it. Yeah. That I know the chance you're talking about, kind of half volley, 6 yards out. Yeah, that felt like a moment, all right. They are very easy to miss, but that did feel like a big moment. When that went over, yeah, that felt like that was the moment, all right. Whitehammer said, feels Dom is not suited to the role he has with us. Potentially. He does have the tools in his toolbox to play the role, but probably isn't. See, I've got to be honest and say I didn't really watch all that much of Leipzig, so not really sure how Dom played positionally in that system. But look, he's got the capability for it. I just feel like Dom isn't in perfect rhythm at the minute. On a side note, Craig, see Big Sam sitting with Sir Jim. That would worry me if I was a United fan. Oh, that would be amazing. Oh, please, yeah. Do you have a clue what Darren was doing when he tried to square back across to whoever? No. There are sometimes, Jack, I look at some of the things that our beautiful boy Darwin does, and sometimes I'm lost. I'm lost for words. I'm lost for a rational thought process, mate. So no, I don't know what he was trying to do. Do you agree that we're the most entertaining team out of the three in the title race? Oh, yeah. I do. I don't think we're playing the best standard of football, but we are the most entertaining. Yeah, I would say that, of the three teams left. Arsenal and Manchester City are very precise in their movements, very regimented in how they're drilled. It's effective, of course, but yeah, I would agree with you on that one. Left attacking mid or left number 10 is where he wants to play. Okay. Well, I mean, maybe he just doesn't like to do some of the defensive work he's been asked to do in that role at Liverpool, which, again, we got to remember, this is Dominic Szoboszlai's first season in England, and some players will be able to hit the ground running. Some players take a little bit longer to get into the rhythm. So I don't know which one it is with Dom, but I think we can all agree he has all the traits to be a great player, the ability to be a great player. Just making sure he puts that together and fits into the system. Most entertaining, deserve to win the league. No, I wouldn't necessarily say that. Usually, I would edge the team with the best defence when you're looking for winning league titles, because, you know, scoring goals is great, but not conceding is what wins you games of football a lot of the time. And, you know, like Bobby George used to say in darts, he used to say, trebles for show, doubles for dough. It's kind of that way with football. We've always been a team who didn't struggle to entertain or score, but we were a team that conceded some soft goals. And I don't think it's any accident that Arsenal have that best defensive record. Yes, Joe Kinnear, RIP, absolutely, Colin. I meant to mention that earlier on. Joe Kinnear did sadly pass away. I'd seen it announced during the Spurs game, and a huge figure in English football. So yes, absolutely, rest in peace, Joe Kinnear. Have you seen Fabio cooking it up recently? He could revive his career under Amorim. There's been a lot of talk, Toby, that yes, that he will get the opportunity. Apparently, a few things I've read suggest that Ruben Amorim's excited at the idea of bringing Carvalho back into the fold, because his attributes are probably ones that would be admired in the Amorim system. So I fully expect him to get that chance to come back. McAllister is purely world class, but he will be bypassed as the best player in the Premier League so far for any awards in favour of De Bruyne. I think Rodri is probably the one that is most likely to win Premier League Player of the Year. De Bruyne has had loads of injuries and been out for a good while. I don't think he's anywhere near the voting. If I had to take a guess right now, I would suggest it's going to be Rodri, but you know, I guess it is just a preference thing. Who would struggle or not fit in a 3-4-3 system? Diaz and Salah would be the two, because they're wingers. I would say they're probably the ones that... Salah maybe you could move centrally, but Diaz, I think, I don't know where he would fit into that system. Nick said, at least we got the hardest game out of the way and some points we're still in with this title. Yes, I like that, Nick. Good positivity. And yes, today was a tough one. You know, Everton's also going to be one where we have to have our wits about us and make sure we manage the game well. But yeah, I agree. Today was probably the toughest game left for me on paper, but let's wait and see. You know, I've always said if we get to Aston Villa and we need to get that win, second last game of the season away from home, I think we do. But look, there's nothing I can say that is going to make today any better for us all. It sucks. And it sucks because it feels like we just came off the international break having lost to them in the FA Cup, and now, you know, we're sitting here today not feeling great about the world and United having put in a little dent in our title charge. What if Amorim wants to keep Salah? Does FSG and Edwards give him a new contract? Truly don't know the answer to that, mate. Yeah, I really don't know how to answer that because, you know, I don't know Ruben Amorim on a personal level, and I don't know what the club's thought process is for Mohamed Salah's situation. I don't know. Same with Verge and Trent. You know, they all have deals that need to be figured out, or a decision made on whether they get offered contract extensions or not. And hopefully that news should happen soon enough. Do you think Man United will intentionally lose to Arsenal? No. I would never label that at any team. Do I think their fans would want them to lose to stop us or City? Maybe. But no. You know, they're professional footballers. And I like to think that they're all professionals and act accordingly. Do you think Van Dijk is the best centre-back in Premier League history? No, I don't. He's our best centre-back in Premier League history. For me, you know, you're looking at Tony Adams, Rio Ferdinand, John Terry, Nemanja Vidic. What was the dude's name that came in from Porto for Mourinho? Was it Carvalho? Again, an incredible centre-back. Vincent Kompany, an incredible centre-back. No, look, I think we're right to love Verge, but if we're being really honest about it, there have been centre-backs who have had more consistent careers, I guess, at a higher level in the Prem. Yap Stam is another good shout, yeah. And Hipia was brilliant as well, Brian, yeah. I love Big Sammy. Big Sammy was incredible for us. What a bargain he was. On this documentary Liverpool are releasing at the end of the season, I can't wait to see the dressing room reactions at half-time, full-time, what made us fail. I don't think they're going to be in it. I don't think that's the type of content that's going to be in this. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't think those fly-on-the-wall moments, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm looking forward to it as well, though. It's going to be an interesting watch. For me, if you're asking me for the best centre-back in the Premier League era, I'd always edge to Rio Ferdinand. I think Rio Ferdinand was an incredible centre-back. Maybe I'm a little bit biased towards Rio Ferdinand because I've watched them play live and I was blown away by just watching him glide around the pitch. And I don't want to say this because he's a United player, but honestly, I think Rio Ferdinand was a Rolls Royce of a centre-back. John Terry was the one that you'd want to go into the trenches with. You know, if your back's to the wall, John Terry, he'd be the guy you'd probably want standing beside you there, backs to the wall type scenario, digging in to try and grind it out. He was incredible in that regard. Ferdinand, I think, was just a bit better of a ball playing centre back. But look, there's been some very, very, very good centre backs that have been in the Premier League. Vidic is better than Rio. I disagree, but it is a personal preference. You know, Torres ran Vidic inside out many times. I just always thought Rio Ferdinand was a better centre back myself. When I hear these conversations, I hear VVD rated more than Tony Adams. Tony Adams, look, maybe it's just a generational thing, but Tony Adams was a colossal centre back as well. You know, as I said when we started this conversation, we've been, as a league, we've seen some brilliant centre backs come in through the Premier League over the years, And all the names that you've mentioned are all absolute top quality centre backs that would grace any team. Sol Campbell was another one put in there. You know, what's the dude's name that Spurs? Ledley King. You know, I know his injuries were horrendous, but on form again, another great centre back. If VVD left, who would you make captain? I mean, Trent is the obvious choice. Feels like the natural choice. You know what? I wouldn't have made Verge captain. I think he's done a great job as captain, by the way. But I would have went for Andy Robertson. But if Verge was to, I don't know, but for whatever reason not be the captain, I think Trent's the logical one. Best centre-back of all times, in your opinion? Oh, God, I don't know. There's been some ridiculously good centre-backs over the years. I always loved Carlos Puyol at Barcelona, you know, because he wasn't big in stature compared to some of the others. You know, you look to Italy and the quality of some of the centre-backs that played in Italy at AC Milan in particular over the years, just phenomenal. Maldini is probably the answer, as on Tim said. Like, Paolo Maldini, Franco Baresi. I mean, yeah, there's been some damn good centre-backs in world football, absolutely. Right, my friends, I'm going to say goodnight to you all. I'm glad I came back on. I really am. It's been quite a cathartic experience to come on and talk this all through. And, you know, vent a little bit, talk a little bit, share opinions. I hope we're all maybe feeling a little bit better. But don't give up is the one message I'd like to finish up with before we say goodbye. You know, there's a lot of football left to be played. Yes, it's disappointing today, especially because it's the Manx. But, you know, let's wait and see what happens. Roll on Thursday, Atlanta in the Europa League, and let's keep putting our best foot forward. So, much love to you all. Thank you for tonight. Don't forget, drop a like on the stream, hit the subscribe button before you head off, and I hope to see you in Dublin or Belfast at one of those two shows as well.